Hey, this is Matthew Barrett, and you're listening to the Fantasy Fogcast.
There you go. Well, here we go. Back up old. Time to get this show on the road. Fantasy news, and it's coming at you with the GBO2. Ball pass is 2016. Time to get a new team. Season 3 of the Fantasy Fogcast. We're coming right up your ass. Season 3 of the Fantasy Fogcast. Season 3 of the Fantasy Fogcast. Season 3 of the Fantasy Fogcast. Making them games.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Fogcast, a buzzed and bold football podcast. Hopefully, depending on how you're viewing or listening to us right now, you can actually see us on YouTube. Last episode, we said we were going to be on YouTube. Unfortunately,
we're not.
We're not. It was the
technical difficulties.
It's called the Fogcast for a reason.
We actually never even had a camera plugged in.
No, we didn't. To always be recording.
We thought just the computer was going to record us. But apparently that's just the government.
It's this government. Yeah, they've got it somewhere. They were watching us. It's a good thing because you didn't have pants on anyway, so it's probably for the best.
Y'all are lucky I'm wearing pants today.
So again, hopefully you're able to see this on YouTube. So we'll just get right into it. I'm Phil.
I'm John.
I'm Foggy Matt.
And of course, as stated, this is the Fantasy Fogcast. If you're a first-time listener to the show, we're in the off season right now, but we mainly focus on stuff going on fantasy-wise for the NFL season coming up. So we'll be looking ahead at more draft strategies and whatnot here. And then actually beginning this week, we will be doing episodes weekly throughout the rest of the off season, preseason, going on through the postseason. So we're on a weekly format now. Usually we post about usually every Wednesday. Weekly. Yeah.
That's a lot of seasons.
Oh no, I'm saying the day of the week, John. It's like Wednesday. Is usually the day, unless we get foggy and forget to press record. Hey, maybe sometimes Tuesday. Who knows? So please feel free to subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will have. If you've never watched us on YouTube before, this is a kind of a new thing for us. But you can view links to access these videos in our podcast, the info screen there in the description. But either way, however you're digesting the Foggy Bottom Boys little sound bites here, please subscribe to us. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at what? At fantasyfogcast.com. We're on Twitter at fantasyfogcast. And, of course, YouTube. So please check us out. All right, so to get right into it, I guess we should probably start out with the last time we recorded, which we did post the actual podcast. We just didn't post a video. But there really wasn't any news. It was still like a slow time of the off season. And then literally a fucking day later,
the floodgates.
A ton of news came out and shit started happening. We were recording this on August 1st, a Monday night. So with that being said, there is a lot of news to get into. John, take it away. What's been happening?
First bit of news, DeAndre Hopkins has decided to hold out for more money.
Didn't he already end his holdout?
One day.
After a day?
One day.
It's already over?
Updating news, breaking news, you guys. DeAndre Hopkins has rejoined the team.
Well, that's what happens when it costs you $30,000 per day that you're absent, and your contract only allots you $1.4 million because you're in the fourth year of your rookie deal. And I think he was a second-round pick, so hence the $1.4 million for a top 5, top 10 wideout in the league.
Here's the thing. $1.4 million to guys like us. Matt spends the bulk of his allowance and salary on foggy paraphernalia, so. He could go through
2-liter in a tea pitcher.
He could go through $1.4 million probably over 10 years, and he still wouldn't be through it all for that stuff. However, for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, you saw him on Hard Knocks last year.
He likes clothes, and he has to accessorize with small dogs.
That's where you get sponsored. And then people just give you stuff.
That's true. A lot of NBA players, not a lot.
Russell Westbrook.
The bigger NBA players, they make more of their sponsorships. But, I think it's a little harder for football players to do that. They're so limited.
Right. Well, that's because they wear helmets over their faces and nobody really knows what they look like anyway. It's like the guys in Kiss.
But anyway, so yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, he's not in a position to really hold out. However, grossly underpaid, but he's still young, so as long as he...
Same thing with like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is who I meant to say.
Well, Russell Westbrook,
he got paid.
He could be
Russell Wilson.
But Russell Wilson, was on that's the reason they were able to have such a great defense, because they were paying him nothing to be a quarterback.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Third rounder.
He's like $700,000 or $800,000.
Even if he gets hurt week 1. Even if he gets hurt week 1, that was like a fingers crossed, knock on wood if you're listening on the podcast, but he's still going to get a huge contract next year.
Somebody's going to pay him.
Yeah, he's one of the top receivers in the league. He's going to get paid. So, I mean, whatever. I understand why he did it, but, no surprise it ended after one day.
All right, next bit of news. This is a guy everybody wants on their fantasy team. Recently got signed to a 4-year deal, and now he got cut.
Is it Steve Gostkowski, the kicker for the Patriots?
Is it Aaron Rodgers' brother?
It's not. It is actually Nick Foles.
Oh, that's right. He did get cut. Damn.
Nick Foles did sign that big contract last year.
Yeah.
And his 6'6" ass is on the street.
Here's the thing. Hard Knocks comes out next Tuesday, August the 9th.
Yes.
Okay,
And I can't wait.
Do you think the first episode will discuss Nick Foles being cut? Will that be the moment where they play like the fucking sad fucking guitar music? And
it's
just
like the end credits song
up
for
his
the
locker
Incredible
and shit.
Hulk show. The walking away theme.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
can you acapella for me?
No.
You're too foggy.
No.
Okay.
Too foggy.
But yeah, he's going to show him packing up his locker, and we'll just move on. Get another team.
And then you'll hear the narrator come over the voice and be like, "This is what happens when the franchise picks a quarterback at 1."
Does anyone know who's narrating Hard Knocks this season?
Oh my God,
this year or whatever. Is
you know who I wish it would be?
Liev Schreiber is who normally has been doing it. I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Either
Nice.
keep him or do something awesome like Magnum P.I. Tom fucking Selleck.
No.
You could almost hear the mustache
could.
through the narration.
They're probably going to stick with who they got, though.
Oh yeah, you stick with what works, and that's
They've had a couple different people do it, but I think Liev Schreiber's done the recent ones.
The majority.
He's got a good voice. All right.
All right, next bit of news. This is the Browns, and I'm not going to say the J word. Not saying it. Not saying the quarterback's name that everybody wants me to say.
He doesn't play for the Browns anymore.
Exactly, but he is
He doesn't play
associated
for
to
any
it.
team.
Jesus?
Johnny Manziel. I said it. Okay, let's not talk about him. Tim Tebow. Oh, yeah, I said it.
Well, he's only suspended 4 games.
That's right.
So,
only 4.
Only 4 games.
Then he can be a starter. Never.
Yeah.
So
Never.
with the Browns, Terrell Pryor. I know you're all thinking, who? This quarterback that used to never be good?
The quarterback from OSU.
I thought he had a chance with the Raiders, and he did not. But anyway, he has actually decided to do something Tebow never did,
Play wide
which
out.
is convert himself to another position and play wide receiver. Thanks for trying to ruin it, Matt.
Just like you ruined The Bachelorette for John earlier.
Yeah, I don't just watch it. So, yeah, the Terrell Pryor, now he's impressing in the camp. So they're really liking him. Do you think he will be the second, third, or fourth receiver on the team?
I think he's going to be lucky to get a roster spot.
He's impressing.
Yeah, that's just media hype. I mean, the media can say that he's impressing, but did anyone on the coaching staff say he was? I mean, they're going to say that they're not going to reveal anything at this point. So if he gets
RG3
to-
was impressing too, right?
If he gets to be maybe the
Depressing.
fourth on the depth chart, I will be surprised.
I think he could get fourth and maybe even possibly be third. He's a really fast guy.
I could totally see him as a 3
Slot
on their
guy.
depth chart,
No.
but when you factor in the Gary Barnidge is 1, Josh Gordon's probably a 1B or a,
Josh Gordon's going to be number 1 when he comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gary Barnidge is going to be the safety net.
The safety guy, yeah. And then you've got the was it Corey Coleman, the rookie from Baylor that they drafted in the mid-teens. So
It's not that much of an impressive squad to have to make anyway.
and he's a guy that's converting from quarterback to wideout, though he's had a few seasons to work, and especially with the Browns because he was on their practice squad and he worked with them a lot last year.
Who is the
Maybe a 3.
Who's the quarterback battle between and
RG3
Josh
and
McCown?
RG3.
okay.
And RG3 is actually winning the battle right now, they said.
Well, yeah.
Of course.
Josh McCown's chin is in second place.
God, that is a clef.
I mean,
It's a clef hanger.
he consulted the makeup prosthetic artist from Me, Myself, and Irene, for Hank.
Exactly.
Jim Carrey's.
They asked him
ego.
if he could grow a beard like Fitzpatrick just to hide that monstrosity.
No, there's no way.
Which is a great beard.
It is a great beard.
Probably the best beard in the NFL. All right, next bit of news. Reggie Bush just got added to the Bills. Is this news or no news?
Is he still in the league? I mean,
he is on the Bills, so he has to be in the league.
Shut up. I mean, as a rhetorical question, John,
even though the league is now
you're an
off
English major, you
air.
should know that.
That's right.
This is no news because they still have LaShawn McCoy. They still have Carlos Williams. And I think they still got Booby Dixon.
Ooh, Booby.
Oh, Booby. So, Reggie Bush
they do not have Booby Dixon. He's with the Ravens.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't know that.
Third
pretend like I did.
He's a
but
third.
they do have
Saw him in
Shady
mock drafts.
and Carlos. Carlos with a K.
And we know how good Carlos is when Shady's hurt.
Here's the thing. I think that they, as I recall, they had a lot of injury issues in Buffalo at the running back position last year. So it's like, why not? If he can step in.
I mean, Shady, he's old as crap, and he's, always injured. I mean, this dude's probably on his last leg.
I think this is in Buffalo. Really, you need to stay away from the running backs in Buffalo unless you're in your
it's
deeper
Carlos
league.
Williams.
No, even still,
he's suspended 4 games.
Unless you're in your deeper leagues, this is going to be a full-on running back committee, or running back by committee, I should say. So,
real quick, Matt, let me ask you. Phil knows because we talked about this today. Matt, how old is LaShawn McCoy?
oh yeah, fun game to play.
Fun game to play?
Yes.
How old?
It's going to be fun. It's like a carnival game.
33.
Oh my God,
dude! Okay, what did we say earlier today? I think I was on 31.
I said he's probably at least 30.
Yeah.
I said, there's no way I could have seen him being under.
Did I
30.
get it?
No, he's 28.
28, and he just turned 28.
He just turned 20 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like July 12th or something.
I'm telling you.
Happy late birthday, LaShawn.
So apparently it's not just us. Probably everybody out there's like, what? He's what? How old is he? But yeah, 28 years old.
Yeah.
It's because you get that Brian Westbrook hangover.
Yeah,
Hey, that's exactly what we said.
That's what we said. Okay, so yeah, that was fun. Now moving on to the next bit of news. Recently, Julio Jones was quoted saying that he can get 2,000 yards in a season receiving, and he says that it probably won't happen because he'd rather win, but he is on the Falcons, so is that actually possible?
Of course he is capable. I mean, he's, if not the best, he's one of the top wide receivers in the league. Yes, he could do it. It's so
he needs
funny.
a better quarterback.
You have... It's just so funny that you have at least one receiver every year that comes out and makes some bold claim like this. He seemed to backpedal off of it a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, you want your guys to have that level of confidence. You want him to think he can go out and get, whatever it would be, 140 yards a game on average. But, it's like Calvin Johnson said something similar a few years ago before he retired. Said he could average, however many yards per game for every game of the season. And I think he did, or came damn
when he wasn't
close to it.
injured.
When he wasn't injured, yeah. So it's just like, am I surprised to read something like that from Julio? No. But could he do it? Hell yeah, I could if they were like, I don't know.
I think his statement was misquoted. I think he really said, I could get 2,000 yards a season if I had a better quarterback.
There was an ellipses, and after his
I
2,000
think that's
yards
what
a
I
season,
heard.
dot.
I think it was a better offensive line, probably.
They got one. It's getting there.
But here's
and some other people to throw to.
They got Sanu.
Sanu, but I don't know if you Sanu, but he's not going to be like the man to take the coverage off of him.
No, I mean he could do it though. He could, but it's not going to happen.
He's
2,000
dirty.
yards. I mean,
He's
shit.
dirty.
All right, did we cover this last time in news? Ezekiel Elliott's not really news.
Domestic violence thing.
Yeah, I
He
don't
was
think we
accused.
did, but he was accused of domestic violence, and there was even a witness in the car that said, "I didn't witness anything like what she said."
I feel like that was. It came out. We talked
Maybe
about
like
that
right after.
Yeah, right after, and then there was the shit about Le'Veon Bell too. It was like right after we were.
Yeah,
like
but
the
Le'Veon
same
Bell
day.
is for real, and Ezekiel Elliott looks like somebody's just trying to make something up.
I think his shirt was actually the one that was committing the domestic violence because it didn't come all the way down.
It was
They were like,
popping
"You
off
tuck-
of him.
You tuck that shirt in. He's like, I can't. And they're like, the violence.
The violence.
It just won't tuck in.
Let me ask you something. Do you really think that the NFL even needs to test for marijuana anymore?
They just need to start putting the sickle down on people.
Well, here's the thing. It's like the NBA tests for marijuana, but
NFL tests.
Oh no, they really do, and they catch people on a regular basis,
All
and
the time.
and they suspend them for the same amount of time as or twice as long as domestic violence offenders. And
did you hear what Josh Gordon said? How he got tested?
How?
He said he was at a picnic, like barbecue setting, and they just walked through the backyard, went up to him, and were like, "Hey, we need you to go piss in this right now." like literally, they just walked up and was like, "We need you to go." Like he was just chilling.
It's like, what are you trying to prove? I mean, I think most fans of the NFL don't care if players smoke weed.
Well, personally, I feel like the NFLPA should actually propose to the NFL that players could have their option if they want to go with prescription painkillers for what they need, or they could go the medical marijuana route. And whichever one they sign up for, they can't piss dirty for the other. So they can't pee dirty for opiates, such as like your codeines and whatnot that you would get with prescription painkillers.
No, here's the thing.
They're investigating that with the NFLPA is trying to get that.
Here's the thing, though, is that the NFL wants to be perceived as a family organization.
Right.
Okay. I know.
Yeah.
As
There's a lot to
hypocritical
go
as
into that.
sounds, yeah. Is they want to be perceived that way. So they're never going to come out and just, flatly endorse marijuana.
It would have
smoking.
to be federally passed for them to jump on
even
board.
still,
with
it's
that.
just like, it's very much under the radar is the way that the NBA handles it. It's just like they test for it. But when do you ever hear about an NBA player getting busted for marijuana smoking? They fucking tons of them do it. But it's like
they have secret words for it they put in the media, like substance abuse.
No, they don't even get suspended. It's not nothing like that. They don't get caught because they know when it's coming. The testing's there, but it's so easy to get around. They're not really trying to catch players. It's kind of like the NFL's version of
steroid testing,
of the HGH testing. It's just like they implemented testing just so they could
have certain
put up
dates.
fake numbers to show that it's never. It's like, really, you're not going to catch any players using HGH. I mean, it's absolutely
nobody uses it.
This is, I don't know why they care so much about marijuana, and you're going to ruin players' careers for just a little pot, which is legal in a lot of states. So
some of the states just won Super Bowls not too long ago. Seattle, Denver,
they got to be doing something right. And the
Colorado,
last bit of news that we have, which is really juicy to me.
Juicy fruit?
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick signs a 1-year deal for $12 million to go to the Jets, which I pretty much said was going to happen.
Well, you were the only one. You were standing alone.
I was.
The person
there was nobody.
There was not a single person.
Yeah.
He was like Rufio after Robin Williams done crowed and all that.
I was Rufio. And the shirt didn't come all the way down on me either.
No, it didn't.
You can fly.
You can fight.
You can crow.
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't say.
He doesn't say crow because Robin Williams.
With crow.
That's right.
Whatever. Fucking.
You should go watch that
Yeah, it's Hook.
Go rewatch
classic.
it.
Hook
Go
is
rewatch
amazing.
it.
I don't care what anybody says. Anyway.
My buddy of mine at work, speaking of classic movies,
getting off the topic.
I'm sorry. It's the Fogcast.
Let's do
we
it.
can go off on a little
Let's
tangent
do
here.
it.
He said that he actually spent $2.99 on Amazon to rent and maybe rent, but may possibly buy and watch the Goof Troop movie.
I heard someone say you wasted $2.99.
Yeah, he definitely did. Oh yeah,
Do you remember the
point
point to the Goof Troop movie?
I barely remember it existing.
Goofy wanted to take his son on a fishing trip, and his son wanted to go to the Powerline concert.
Powerline. How do you remember the name of the band? How was that?
It
Matt was
wasn't a
a
band.
fan.
It was an artist.
Matt loved this movie, guys.
Goofy was always better than Mickey.
All right, let's get back on subject because I'll
Fantasy
have more
football.
fun talking about
Goofy
it.
was a stoner. That's why.
I'll have more fun
Hey.
talking about it. Fitzpatrick and his luscious beard. This is what they had to do. They had to sign him. I don't care if it's the
Absolutely.
last penny of your salary cap. You get Fitzpatrick.
Well, here's the thing: is that the team didn't have any leverage. If they thought that they could be fine and win without Fitzpatrick, they would have said, "All right, fuck off. We've got Geno Smith or what's his name? I always forget.
Christian Hackenberg.
Christian
from Penn
Hackenberg."
State.
Yeah, and they're just not ready. And if they were, they wouldn't have let Fitzpatrick back him into a corner. But they had to pay him.
And
They
he
had to.
also had the best year any Jets quarterback has ever had. Ever.
This is true. This is true.
Did we talk? I don't think we talked about.
We didn't talk about shit.
We didn't talk about it. The Antonio Brown bet with Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall totally has a chance now.
But listen, here's the thing. Brandon Marshall bet a sponsored car he was going to get for Antonio Brown's real car, which is worth more than It was a what was it a
Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce for
versus
a
Lamborghini.
No, it wasn't a Lamborghini.
Was it not?
No, it was something else. Fuck. We should look this up. We should do our fucking research.
We don't research on the fantasy
Fuck.
podcast.
No, you just saw me on the tablet the whole time. Now I don't have it. But yeah.
We just have thoughts and facts floating around, and sometimes they don't come out right.
Let's just say it's a Miata.
It's not. Is it a Maserati?
It probably is a Maserati. Anyway, it's an expensive-ass car. Look it up. We'll...
Can we get the F team on this?
Yeah.
The Fog team?
Yeah.
All right, so
it's
talk.
over. All right, so basically they put up cars for cars.
Matt's going to come back up with the Suicide Squad
No,
review.
it's something. Yeah.
So anyway,
this is what I found, you guys. But no, he put up his car for the other car. I think this is a great idea.
Porsche 911
Okay,
It is a Porsche. There you go.
Rolls Royce
versus Antonio Brown's Rolls Royce.
Right, but the thing is for the most yards throughout the whole season, I think Julio Jones is going to take both their cars.
It's Antonio Brown and Brandon Marshall.
I think Julio Jones is going to take both of their cars.
He's not in on the bet.
He's going to just go to their house
Is this like
take both their cars.
Is this like Fast and Furious NFL edition? They put up pink slips.
They put up pink slips. They're out there on the road racing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Julio Jones just pulls up and goes right behind
I think Brandon Marshall really needs to reconsider this bet because he needs to factor in Antonio Brown's a kick returner as well.
And you got
and he runs the shit out of him.
Well, no, this is receiving yards.
Brandon Marshall's also another.
Did he specify receiving yards, or did he just say yards?
Yes. It's receiving yards.
Come on, Matt. It's implied.
He was just looking up Suicide Squad trailers. Come on.
Reviews.
Oh, I'm sorry. Reviews.
I think it's going to suck.
All right.
You're talking about
Suicide
Brandon
Squad.
Marshall. That's the end of the news.
Okay. All right. Well, fantastic. Okay. We got, as always, a little off tangent there, but
Never.
we brought it back around.
Never.
All right. So,
Never.
Again, this is the fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Here we are at the beginning of August. Some people have already had drafts.
I've had 2.
How many leagues are you in this year, John?
I'm cutting down
From 20 to
20 to 7,
Wow, really?
maybe 8
Or 9 or 10.
or 9 or 10. Just
I'm in 15 leagues
I'm
this
only
year.
going to do 8.
15 more than I was last year. 35. Here I got
25 leagues.
I'm hopefully
69.
stopping at 8. I'm hopefully stopping there.
Okay, well.
But I have crushed it. I've shown you guys my teams.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, you're doing good. In your free league, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, okay. Have you done any pay league drafts?
No.
Okay. Reason being is because
That would be dumb.
yeah, you're just beginning, and you're not even now, but it's like I'd say
There's still a lot of injuries to come.
Yeah, and before preseason starts, I mean, training camps have just opened up, so it's really, really scary to be drafting for a fantasy season that you're putting money into at this point.
But I will say one benefit of if you can draft now, you might be able to get some steals versus later on whenever people are proving in themselves.
I mean, there's a lot more research that comes out. So, yeah, if you are, but at the same time, that could bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like Brandon Marshall, you could have literally got him and Eric Decker dirt cheap before
Right
Ryan
now,
Fitzpatrick signed.
that is very true.
That's a huge one.
So, anyway, with that being
That's what
said,
she said.
we like to take this time in the off season to look at positional rankings that are kind of the hot topics in fantasy right
Kind of like
now.
Lazy Dog.
Karma Sutras
What?
Positional rankings.
Okay. Well,
that are hot.
just because I said position, y'all are like everything I say. There's like sex,
We're like,
pussy.
have you ever thought of
I like vagina.
inside these bodies are 9-year-old boys?
Okay.
Not literally. Don't take that the wrong way. Don't be like us. But yeah.
Okay.
I think John just announced he was a pederast.
No. I totally came out wrong.
Better than the other way around, right?
Oh,
Better
God.
than
Yeah.
This
So.
body is inside 9-year-old.
Okay, you don't have to say it, Matt. You
we're
don't
not
have to say it. Okay.
We're not Joe Paterno over here. Okay. Go
Okay,
on.
let's just keep digging. Just keep making
No.
it worse.
No.
So,
Paterno.
all right.
Give him his wins.
So how about those positional rankings?
All right. Positional rankings. Last week or a couple weeks ago, we did a breakdown of quarterbacks. How it's a really good idea to wait. You don't want to give them up. Give up. I guess the opportunity to take other positions.
It's going to look great when you see Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers there in the 3rd, 4th round. But wait.
There's always going to be one or two guys, at least, sometimes more in most drafts, even paid leagues, unless everyone's really good at fantasy football. But strategy-wise, don't be that guy.
And if you want to know what we said about quarterbacks, go listen to the last podcast. We discuss it in detail. There's like 6 guys that you can have on your team that aren't even getting drafted.
All right. So that being said, moving on, we want to talk about, as we promised, the running back position.
My favorite.
Which is really the trickiest, I would say.
He says that for every position. He said every year.
Running back is my favorite.
We talk about the missionary position. It's my favorite.
Priest.
So moving on to doggy style. Oh, it's my favorite. Moving on to running backs.
My favorite.
It's been established. Moving on to running backs. You really this is going to be the core of your team.
It's really the most important position.
Because I would say, when I say core of your team, I mean obviously those are guys that you want, the same guys you want to start week in and week out. There's nothing crappier than on your fantasy roster having to kind of roll the dice and like, okay, which running back is going to do good this week? You want studs, and as most teams in the NFL shift to a running back by committee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. It is becoming harder and harder to find those guys. I mean, I think statistically, it's like if you look at the number of running backs that had 1,000-yard plus seasons between last year and even 5 years ago, it's like cutting a third. There was like 6 or 7 guys last year that had 1,000-yard seasons. Like back in like 2004 or 5, it was like 22 running backs, something like that. I'm making these numbers up. We don't do research, but it is something like that. It is
something was correct.
It is decreased dramatically. That's the point. So even more
everybody knows that.
Even more of a reason to really stock up, and you're going to have to get some sure things. If you can't, you have to throw some shit against the wall for value and hope that something sticks.
You're going to have to get like some handcuffs, like Arizona last year. Chris Johnson for the first half of the season got you by really well, and once he broke his leg, if you had David Johnson stored, you were okay. I mean, granted, the production was divided between 2 players, but if you've got ownership of both of them, you got 100% of the touches.
And in the league you're in now, if you don't get somebody who is the guy, you need to get those as your backups on your bench, especially if you believe in that team and their run attack. For example, like let's say Seattle. If you get Rawls, you need to get his backup.
Posey.
Got to get him.
I mean,
Le'Veon Bell, D'Angelo Williams.
100%.
It's fine, though. It goes without saying that as you draft, obviously you don't want to take up too many spots for a position, even running back, but minimum you should have 5 to 6 running backs on your roster.
Yeah, if you're going to load up on any position, running back is it, because it is the toughest position to draft. You're going to have people get hurt there more than any other position, and it's one of the most important key parts of your team. I mean, it's huge.
I felt like last year throughout the season, even with all the injuries at all the positions, that each week running back was the hardest position to claim in the waiver claims, because there would be like maybe 1-2 running backs worth it, and then 5 or 6 wideouts. So you're like, wow, I'd be happy with any one of those.
And the thing is that as the league shifts even more so, and as it's done slowly over the past 10 years, I'd say, from running primarily based offenses to to kind of a balance to now it's pretty much everybody fucking throws the ball a lot. So and we'll get into this when we cover wide receivers, but they're a lot more replaceable on your roster than running backs. So that's why it's important to try to get the stud starters you can, and and really try to make take some good chances on the guys on your bench in case something doesn't pan out.
And wait, real quick, something else that you really need to think about with running backs. Think about teams that are going to be ahead in the 4th and 3rd quarter. These are teams that you're going to actually have people running. Like you might see Carlos Hyde there early and be like, oh, I want to get him versus Jonathan Stewart. Maybe you want Jonathan Stewart because they're probably going to be ahead in a lot more games.
Yeah, that's the thing, is even if you got a good running back, I mean, if they're trying to play catch up like the 49ers are all the time,
it ain't going to be happening. Yeah, they're not going to use that guy.
Like, oh, I heard good things about Duke Johnson. He's a fucking Brown.
He's a Brown.
He's a
check yourself.
Fucking Brown.
You're gonna get 3 or 4 games every week.
Every year.
Every year where it's like he gets like 20 plus points, and you're like, yeah, I knew I was smart getting him. No, you're not.
No.
Consistency wins championships. All right. With that being said,
ready for this list?
Ooh. Let's do it, Matt.
The unmasking, the unveiling.
There's no unveiling. This is online. Anyone can see this.
Nope, just me.
Okay.
It's crystal pads, my own little foggy invention. All right, first off,
Unveiling.
the granddaddy. There's a reason this guy's number one, and
Frank
he's
Gore?
tried and true. Close.
Okay.
Frank Gore's almost as tried and true as this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Not really.
No.
AP all day.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson, number one. That's who you want number one.
How is he number one?
How is he not number one?
When has he ever upset you
I'm just kidding.
with his performances? He's never upset me with his performance. It's either he's gotten hurt, like torn ACL and been out, which you can't affect that, or something off the field like the kid incident a couple years ago. Every time he's been able to suit up 16 games,
Kills
this
it.
motherfucker's the beast.
This guy is the epitome of consistency. Just what we were talking about earlier. I mean, if you have the first pick in the draft and you don't take Adrian Peterson or one of the next couple guys we say, you're a fucking idiot.
And that's just as long as you're not in PPR. PPR is the only time I'd take Antonio Brown or Julio over anybody.
Yeah.
Only time. Because it's literally
Leaps and bounds
point differential, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Other
see
than that, in anything else, 100% taking AP. And recently in mocks, he was like the 8th pick overall and the 3rd running back, and he has now leaped up to the 1st overall pick
I
and the
remember when
first
he was
running
ranked
back.
like 14th overall. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Crazy.
ridiculous.
But if
He's
he
hopped
stays healthy, it's consistency
Yeah.
all day. See what we did there?
Number 2 on the block, my boy, Todd Gurley.
Oh my God. I cannot believe. I would take a GB right now that Todd Gurley is not the number 1 or 2 running back this year.
I'm going to say he's the top 5 just because that team is in transition. But
That team-
it's going to be hard for him to be 1 or 2 due to the fact golf.
That team is not going to be ahead a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's such a versatile player that I mean, you can't go wrong. I wouldn't take him over an Adrian Peterson.
Of course.
I don't know if I'd take him over Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, give me
exactly. I was
someone
gonna
that's not
say-
with top 2 here, guys.
I don't know if I would take him over a Le'Veon Bell. No, I'm just kidding.
I just said that.
Matt, give me the next 3 or 4 people.
All right, next, number 3 on the list, Ezekiel Elliott, the unproven rookie.
I would take him over Ezekiel.
I would easily take him over
Gurley
Ezekiel.
over Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. I think if you take Ezekiel, you need to get at least McFadden.
If
Oh, yeah,
not
no, that's-
McFadden and Alfred
You got to
Morris.
get
That's
him.
McFadden's actually got a broken arm. He had surgery to repair his forearm, so you might actually want to hold off on McFadden and grab Alfred.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if McFadden
And just
will be ready
wait and
week
hear
one.
what
I think
happens in camp.
Yeah, I think if you do that though, you either wait till it's later
Well-
draft for something to pan out, or that's something you don't want to jump onto early. You don't want to
You want the starting running back for the Cowboys, though.
Oh yeah.
And if
absolutely.
Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt because it's the NFL and he's never touched the ball and we don't know what he can do, I really feel like this is going to be someone you need to have the replacement for because waiver wire is going to be insane.
I know, but this is something where I don't know if it's worth giving up a pick to get Darren McFadden or Alfred Morris.
With your last pick?
Well, especially your last pick should be your kicker.
Okay, I'm saying your last 2 picks should be kicker and defense 100%, and do not steer away from that.
Positional pick.
Your last positional pick should be, I think, the backup if you get Ezekiel Elliott.
That's probably somebody you can pick up in free agency if something happens. I'd rather take a
It might
flyer
be
on
too
someone
late, though.
else.
That's
It
what
might
I'm
be
saying.
too late.
I'm
It
saying
might be too
it's
late by
waiver
then.
wire at that point.
But
Because you got to think, if you don't have the top waiver claim and Ezekiel Elliott goes down, who do you think is going to be the hottest waiver pickup on that following waiver wire? Whoever the starting quarterback for the Cowboys is, because that O-line is
it's a big what if. I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, then you just got somebody sitting on your roster just taking up space where you spent that on someone else.
That's your insurance.
Yeah,
it's fun.
All right, let's go.
All right, after Ezekiel Elliott, we're looking number 4, David Johnson.
I'm not a big fan.
I don't like this either. This is
People are talking him up
high risk, high
big
reward.
time.
Well, he just had really a stellar,
Rookie year.
yeah, stellar stats for the times that he was on the
He had
field.
4 touchdowns in the first 4 games, but they were like one bang plays.
They were like wide receiving touchdowns, kick return touchdowns. I mean, like they weren't all
I
running
mean, he's
touchdowns.
great. He's a great talent. He's very impressive, but can he do it for a full season? That's
Week
something we
in
haven't
and week
seen.
out.
And is Bruce
Right.
Arians going to trust him with this team because they're really looking?
We still got everybody from last year.
Yeah, Andre Ellington and Chris Johnson, and they're all healthy.
And it scares me.
It's a crowded backfield to go that high of a pick for. I feel
I would rather have Thomas Rawls over him.
I can see that.
I think that
the Seahawks are one of the top 2 running teams in the league.
Basically, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just questioning why he is this high.
Yeah, I agree.
I also question that about Matt all the time. Matt, why are you this high
all
the time?
Only smoke the finest ganja.
We tried to get him help. It ain't happening.
All right,
Who
you
else?
ready to move on? Number 5.
I've been looking over here on Matt's screen. He doesn't even have a list of running backs. He has the top list, and he's just going through and
we're only doing
running
10.
backs.
We're only doing 10, and they're numbered right down here.
It's fine. Let's do it.
Devontae Freeman, another guy that it's a crowded backfield.
These are all like people I'm hoping get drafted so I can just take who I want, which is Eddie Lacy. Probably coming up next.
Oh, God. You and Eddie Lacy, man.
P90.
P90 Lacy.
You know what the P and P90X stands for?
Pussy.
Popeye's chicken.
I think it stands for puss.
Push. A plate of push.
All right, Devontae Freeman. If you saw Tevin Coleman week 1 last year, you're like, oh my God, he handled 20 touches so well.
This is a definite handcuff.
This is a total handcuff, and depending on how Dan Quinn...
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
No, you go Devontae, you don't get Coleman, you go Devontae.
Whoever was the starter did great. When Tevin went out because he was hurt, he really would have continued being the starter if he didn't
And
get
when
hurt.
Devontae got hurt for a couple weeks, Tevin Coleman still did okay.
And did good.
But it's good to have the insurance, I agree. But again, you don't want to waste too high of a draft pick on it.
Get him.
Tevin Coleman's a late pick.
I mean,
though.
you
It's
assume.
worth it.
I mean,
Me and Matt have actually taken Tevin Coleman with a couple of our last couple picks in drafts.
I could see that in this situation, but at the same time,
without having Devontae.
At the same time, I mean, you don't want to. Okay, let's say you have. I mean, granted, unless you have like maybe the last pick and you get a snake and come back around, you're probably. Let's say you get Ezekiel Elliott and Devontae Freeman. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you really going to spend your other 2 running back positions on handcuffs?
You're right. We should.
No.
Yes.
No, because, I mean, you're probably going to have 5, 6 running back positions at the most, and 4 of them are taken up between really 2. You're not going to start them both.
I would get one of them's handcuffed. Probably Devontae Freeman's over Ezekiel Elliott's.
I wouldn't. I would get Elliott's because he has a better offensive line.
And it costs you a lot cheaper.
But if
than
he's got
Tevin
a better
Coleman.
offensive line, that would probably decrease the chances of him getting injured. I would actually get Coleman.
Not with the fact that
he has
Elliott is going to be on the field a whole lot more. He's great blocking, they say. So he's going to be in there taking punishment on every single play.
Although I can see that because the Cowboys have kind of shown to drive freaking running backs into the dirt.
Yeah.
It's just like you're gonna get 350 carries this year, son. And you're proud, man.
And
You're
dehydrated
with a star on your helmet. Woo, Cowboys! All right,
real quick. Did you watch Ballers yet?
Not episode 2.
We're on
There's
3.
like 3.
Yeah, the third one was on there, and they have like the Jerry Jones version of,
and he does a great job.
Is his eyes the appropriate
Here's
width
the thing.
apart?
I'm gonna tell you the actor who's playing him. It's the guy who does. I can't remember his name. It's
I ate
Shooter
pieces
McGavin.
of shit for breakfast.
Shooter McGavin. That's awesome.
And his eyes are a little bit too far apart, but like in a handsome actor type way.
And he's nothing like your normal Shooter McGavin. He literally sounds just like Jerry Jones.
He nails the Jerry Jones impersonation.
Awesome,
it's
man.
very good.
And the mannerisms.
That's
And it's just a few lines, but he crushes it.
Yep.
All right, here's where we're gonna get a little seedy.
Like
all right,
a player
guys.
push.
It is a play to puss, but the number 6 running back, and in my heart, he's number 2. It's Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Even with the 4 games,
because they're
The 4 games
Okay,
suspension.
you're right.
But even with 4
Just
games,
let the motherfucker smoke some weed. Mary Jane Hall of Fame. Boom.
Bam.
but even with his 4-game suspension, he's going to be a top 1 or 2 running back. This guy's so fucking explosive.
As long as he can stay healthy.
He can catch, he
Yep.
can run, and he can crow.
He can definitely grow. Yeah, he should be, to me, drafted in the top 5 regardless.
Yep, doesn't matter.
Even if he misses 4 games.
Get D'Angelo Williams later. Start him the first 4 games. You're fine.
Do you know when they're supposed to announce whether or not he's going to get suspended?
Mid-August.
Mid-August.
They have a court date for his, what's it called? His
hearing?
Appeal.
Appeal.
His appeal.
So they already suspended him?
No. Well, yes.
What?
They didn't announce it because they have to wait for the appeal process to go through completely. Then they are like, you are suspended. We will announce it.
Shit. He's probably getting suspended.
He came out with a statement saying, trust me. He actually said, "Trust me, I will not be suspended." So
Now, I'm a little high, but trust me, I'm not.
he actually said that to the rear end of a donkey as well.
I also heard that he said it's okay because I did not.
By
inhale.
the way, funny story. Earlier this year, in my dynasty league, Le'Veon Bell is like my stud running back on my team.
He's your choice
I traded
yeah.
last year. I traded Marshawn Lynch and Brandon Marshall to get him from a guy. Worked out pretty good, but he got hurt, and I didn't really get to use him for one game. I think I got him before he got hurt. So anyway, on April Fool's,
Yeah.
John used his Photoshop.
I tried really
skills.
hard.
Yeah.
I was even really nonchalant about the way I did it.
And that's the thing. The subtlety is what convinced me. I'm an idiot. Such a.
It took you like 6 hours to actually look at it.
Yeah, well, it's like he sent like a picture on a text message, and so I didn't open it up. I just looked at the preview, and I just read it real quick about how Le'Veon Bell got busted for pot. He was like denying it, and he's like saying, "Well, I don't even remember what the tweet said, but
Yeah.
it's basically like he was playing a joke on me, saying that Le'Veon Bell.
I remember he said, "I'm sorry. I apologize to the team. I thought I was getting traded, so I went and smoked, and I got caught."
Oh yeah, that's right. And so joking around that Le'Veon Bell smoked pot again and got suspended, and then here we are.
Here we are.
4 months later.
Calls
to
the
the
shot.
day, and
the trick that never ends.
So I think John did that as like a late blooming April Fool's joke. He like mailed a package of some good coo to fucking Le'Veon Bell.
That's right.
And anyway,
I had him go for a ride with LeGarrette Blunt.
I am.
Blunt Man and Chronic back together.
Back together again.
All right,
hate you.
Moving past Le'Veon at 6, who we all know is number 2 in our hearts.
Right.
This is a guy that I feel like everybody should reach for, especially once AP goes off. It's okay to take this guy in the first round, even though he is the
First
7th.
round.
Yeah, it's okay to take
Who
him
is
in the
it?
first round, even though
Frank
he's
Gore?
the 7th rated running back.
Is it Frank Gore?
Lamar Miller.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now you're okay with it.
I actually am okay with this. I have Lamar Miller as a top 5 running back this year.
Workload wise,
Alfred Morris all over again. Here we go.
Oh God, John just put his stank stamp on it, and it's going to ruin my Lamar.
We
Miller
talked
value.
about the Alfred Morris thing the other day, where
It
he
wasn't
didn't even
his
get a
fault.
chance.
Last year, John notably
Fucked it up.
even wrote an article about why Alfred Morris would be a top 3 or top 5.
And I drafted him in the 3rd round a couple of
You know
leagues.
why that is?
That's why I sucked.
I've got
That's
to
why I
do.
sucked.
Then Matt Jones came along and slapped you in the face with his dick.
About 50 times.
Well,
actually, I think it was Gruden that slapped me in the face with his dick.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what's up, John. You did an online league a couple years ago, and you beat Jay Gruden in the fantasy championship.
Very true.
That's what it is.
And when he read your article, he's like, "Alfred Morris top 5.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck you, John. I'm gonna get payback and just shit all over 8 of your 22 leagues.
This guy had literally been one of the top 5 rushers every year he'd been in the league.
1,000-yard rusher.
And then Gruden said, "Fuck that."
no more. It's like there's an off switch, and he just
He just said, "See
flipped
ya."
that motherfucker.
Sometimes when you play fantasy football, you do think that players and coaches are intentionally just trying to fuck you.
Oh, they are.
That's it. Just you. You're just like, hey, motherfucker Phil, I'm going to fuck his team up. Fuck this guy.
That's right.
I'm going to go smoke some weed and get suspended for 4 games.
Le'Veon Bell. All right.
But this is a guy, Lamar Miller. He plays in a weak division. I mean, the
Weak
Colts,
division.
Titans, Jacksonville is probably the stiffest competition he'll see as far as the defense inside that division. And he has a good defense. And if there's one thing that feeds the running game,
It's a good defense.
it's good defense.
And what's a good thing that feeds the running game as well? Good passing game.
Well, he's going to
Brock
get some
Osweiler
passes,
and
too.
Well, no, I'm saying,
DeAndre Hopkins.
you keep the defense honest,
Right.
having a downfield threat and a good running game. It says, man, Houston could be scary.
Like
Oh,
I
they
said,
can be.
I don't see the Colts even competing for a division title
Oh,
with
wow.
Houston.
I think
this
it's
year.
going to come down to the Jaguars and the Texans.
Me too, but we'll get to that later.
But look, the workload for Arian Foster was always huge. It's going to be huge for Lamar
especially
Miller.
with Bill O'Brien there. He loves to
Huge.
pass.
$5
He loves to
foot-long
just
huge.
run it up the ass. But moving on, this is a shaky guy in the past, but
He's got Tourette's.
kinda.
Is it Frank Gore?
Chris Johnson.
no, it's not Frank Gore. I'm,
Johnson has
I'm kind of
shaky.
okay with this guy now.
Parkinson's. That's it.
Number 8 running back.
Sorry to everybody with
Doug Marty McFly Martin.
This is Matt's like boyfriend, and I'm not in on it.
No, I like this.
I don't.
I mean, as
Who
far
else
as
they got?
no, he has again. What do you look for? You look for a workhorse back. Who else do they have? This is a guy that, as long as he stays healthy,
They're going to be down.
He's
But
shoulder
he could
prone.
be consistent for you.
Matt,
He could.
Who is near Doug Martin or Phil that you would think
Thomas Rawls.
he's going to crush or would
We're
not
getting
crush
there.
him? Because I would love to put a GB up against somebody against Doug
Okay,
Martin.
we'll combine 9 and 10 right now. 9 and 10. 9, Mark Ingram. 10, Thomas Rawls.
Hey, look, I'll put 12 up. Eddie Lacy against all them motherfuckers.
Eddie Lacy's 11.
Okay, I will say that Doug Martin has more fantasy points than Eddie Lacy for the season.
I will take that gentleman's bet, which is a GB.
That's right. GB.
Matt, you in on this?
I'll take Thomas Rawls over
No.
Lacey.
No.
Let's
let's-
separate.
let's
Separate.
put 'em all together.
So me and Phil.
Well, I think that Rawls will do better than Doug Martin, though.
No, wait. Just let's separate it. Me and Phil. Rawls versus
okay, so
Lacey. Or is it Doug Martin?
Doug Martin.
Okay. Doug Martin versus Lacey. Phil's got Doug Martin.
Wait, so
GB.
he's going to do Rawls?
He's doing Rawls versus Lacey. GB with Matt.
I'll piggyback on his. I'll do both.
Okay. I'm
I
taking
think
you both
both
on
of
that
them will
one.
be- I just
G
don't-
Bizzle.
But I do think Rawls will beat Martin, so that's why I don't want to.
That's just a separate point. That's not a G Bizzle.
But, I mean, there's some good running backs in there
Cross the streams.
in our
true.
top 10, you know. I'm pretty much comfortable with all of them. I don't feel happy with how they've got David Johnson, Devontae Freeman, and Ezekiel Elliott rated. I think
Well,
Le'Veon Bell's
okay,
better.
listen, it's August 1st. As mocks happen and as, news from training camps and preseason games, these will finalize. That's why it's actually good to, if you are drafting now, to really think about where the value is. And of course, you're going to have to make some predictions and take some chances.
You're
That
gonna have
is
to
the
reach.
essence of fantasy football.
Very true.
You're
but
going to have to reach on some people.
You have so many people that draft based upon rankings, not exclusively. They'll bend a little here and there, but it's just like, don't be afraid to draft somebody that is the 8th ranked or 10th ranked running back just because the 3rd best running back on some fucking arbitrary list is available. Do what your research and your gut tells you, or what we tell you, and then you can blame us.
I'll give you a goddamn situation.
No.
Here's the situation. You've got the 8th pick, 10-team draft, and you're left with Todd Gurley's gone, Le'Veon Bell's gone,
AP's
Adrian
gone.
Peterson's gone. So you're looking at Ezekiel Elliott, David Johnson, Devontae Freeman. I take Lamar Miller.
I agree.
I take Lamar Miller
I agree.
at 8.
Now, to piggyback on this subject that Phil's saying, I feel like when you look at your pick, if you don't have a pick coming up for 20 picks, right?
Yeah.
You literally don't look at the top 4 or 5. Look at the top 20.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because you might take someone that's 12 picks down and someone be like, oh, you reached for him. I didn't reach for him. He ain't going to be there regardless.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's who I want out of those 20 people.
Yep, that's a good point.
Because I'll tell you, in a 10-team snake, and you're sitting at 8, if you don't take Lamar Miller at 8 and bypass Elliott, Freeman, and Johnson, you won't get Lamar Miller, but you could potentially get Elliott, Freeman, or Johnson.
Well-
Because when somebody's throwing money down, they're not going to take a rookie or a 4-game hot hand. They're going to go with what they know, and Lamar Miller looks fucking good in Houston.
In a lot of mocks that we've done, Matt can attest to this, I've reached about 15 picks low and taken Kelvin Benjamin because I didn't like anybody else that was there.
I'll take Kelvin Benjamin over a Demaryius Thomas.
We'll wait for wide receiver.
But we'll
talk.
wait on that.
Okay. So
Just saying,
Is that
strategy-wise.
round out the top running backs?
That's our top 10.
I didn't hear a Frank Gore in there.
Honorable mentions, your 11th running back is Eddie Lacy. Your 12th
Yep.
is Jamal Charles.
Oh,
13th, LaShawn McCoy, which I don't like. Jonathan Stewart at 14th. Carlos Hyde at 15th, which I don't like. Matt Forte at 16. Which
I like him.
I would take him
yeah.
right after Jamal Charles. To
Especially
hell
with Fitzpatrick coming.
There's a lot
and
of-
these are probably without Fitzpatrick back.
These are a lot of sneaky.
CJ Anderson.
Picks, you know.
He's the
I-
17th
I
rated.
like I like CJ Anderson,
no.
and I like another thing about Forte, like Phil said earlier, keeping the defense honest on the other side. They are going to pass it. They got 2 good options with Marshall and Decker. Forte should just this should be a resurgence. for
Forte
him.
becomes the dump off guy because they don't have a tight end.
Well, he's always been a good receiving back.
Exactly.
Oh, he always
exactly.
He's always good at receiving.
He should
in the
be.
back.
I am telling you, if you can get him as your second or early third, get him because that's going to be great.
He's a great flex.
Oh, he's a phenomenal flex.
Division.
All right.
Division talk.
Division talk. What we do is we look at each week. We'll be looking at a division from the AFC and division from the NFC. Our predictions. Last week we did the Super Bowl winning divisions, the Super Bowl teams. Yeah, thank you. Representing divisions of the AFC West and the NFC South. So if you want to check that out, you can listen to episode 5. However, this week we're going to be swapping it, and we're going to be doing the AFC South and the NFC West. So
this is awesome.
John, can you name me all the teams in the AFC South?
No.
I can't.
No, John.
I said no. I already answered.
Matt, don't just try. Don't help him.
No.
We said him earlier in the episode.
No. Like, here's the thing. I don't know any divisions. You have to literally give me one team from that division, then I can tell you who's in the division.
AFC South. I'll give you a hint. We talked about this guy just a second ago as being a great running back to draft. If Matt's situation.
In Matt's situation.
About if you had the 8th pick.
Lamar Miller.
There you go.
Okay. Houston Texans.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Uh-huh.
The Oilers.
Close enough. We'll give it to him.
Yeah. Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
The Jaguars.
That's
right.
another.
And the Colts.
There you go.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't clap for yourself.
I love clapping. It's
likes
a hobby.
So
I have.
you win. Started off.
What I think will happen in this division.
Yep.
Man. Now, I disagree with Matt. I think the Colts are going to bounce back. They got Andrew Luck. That is huge. Just like my dick. Probably not. So, man, this is tough. Look at it.
Okay.
That was actually too real. Man, I'm going to go with the Colts winning the division, even though Matt says it ain't going to happen. I'm going to have them at 9-7.
That's a dirty 9-7.
That's a horrible
Exactly.
division.
No, it's not horrible.
Because everybody's going to beat each other
It's going to be really close. I have, the Texans also at 9-7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But I personally hope the Texans win the division. Just saying. I just don't think it'll happen.
Continue.
And then who else? The Titans and who?
Jaguars.
I don't know.
That's
Who,
right.
John?
Jaguars, I think they make a step up. I think they go 7-9. They're in the hunt until late. Just not there. I think next year they're in the playoffs. And I might have even made a GB. They'll make the playoffs, but fuck it. And Titans, I'm going to go respectable 3-13.
Okay.
Respectable 3-13.
I'm going to swap it.
Swap.
Swap it.
Swap.
All right, I'm going to start from the bottom with the
Now we here.
with the Titans. With the Titans. Look at the Titans. They start at the bottom and they're still there at 4-12.
Ooh,
I can.
You're improving. That's a generous 4-12.
You want to make a gentleman's bet?
But more than likely 3-13. But floating around there with the bottom feeders and the top 3 pick in the draft.
Floating with that shit.
Yeah, it's right. Turds float. You can soak a turd in buttermilk long enough.
Okay.
And it's still a turd.
It's still a turd.
Yeah,
It doesn't become
They're
a baby
still
Ruth.
the Titans.
It never becomes a baby Ruth,
Dookie.
right?
Dick LeBeau is just regretting his decision.
Oh yeah. Now,
But he's not the problem.
No, he's
I
not.
think that the moving up the Colts. I think they are third.
Man.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck is a great quarterback, but I don't see that team having the pieces to make a playoff run.
Man.
So I see them going 8-8, 9-7, somewhere like that. It's good. They're going to be close. They'll only be a game or two out.
Will you make a GB? They will not be the third place.
No, I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
All right. So, number 2, I have the Houston Texans at 10-6. Like I said, they're going to be close to the Colts.
Yeah.
Wow.
10-6.
You got 2 wild. You got definitely a wild
And
card
then-
coming out of this division.
I could very well see that. So, and then the Jaguars also have them winning a tie break at 10-6, possibly 11-5. But I have the Jaguars winning this division. I do. So.
Oh, wow. Somebody's foggy. Somebody's smoking that Blake Bortles string.
Oh man, you've been hanging out with Le'Veon Bell, man.
Hey, man, he's got the best stuff.
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm different than all you motherfuckers.
He's got the Titans winning the division.
All
bitches.
you motherfuckers, Titans, 16-0 all the way to the Super Bowl.
Kerry Collins is back.
We're gonna light that up.
Kerry Collins,
Mariota
back.
No,
You like that?
I like where both of you guys are at, and I'm going to fall somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I'm stuck in the middle with you. But anyway, I'm going to start with the bottom.
Actually, Phil's stuck in the middle.
I'm going to start with the bottom. John goes 3-13 for the Titans. Phil goes 4-12 for the
That was
Titans.
generous. That was generous.
That was generous. 4-12.
Matt just did math, you guys.
I'm going to say 2.
What?
2-14 for the Titans, and here's why.
No. I'll take a GB on that.
Here's why. They're not good.
I get that.
And they're in a decent division.
No one here thinks that they're good.
The only division opponent I see them having a chance on is the Colts.
Come on now.
The only division opponent they have a chance to beat is the Colts. So right there's 4 to 6 games they're going to lose.
I just think last year they won their first game against the Chiefs, who everybody had them marked off to lose against.
And they're going to be playing the NFC North, which is Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, and
How do you
Minnesota.
know they're playing? You already know. How do you know they're playing that division off the top of their head?
Because Aaron Rodgers has come to Nashville.
And we looked it up.
Oh, that's right.
I don't see them winning a single game there. Man. They can't beat Detroit. They can't beat Green Bay. I don't see them beating Minnesota and Mike Zimmer. And I definitely don't see them beating Chicago.
Did you forget about Al Pacino and Any Given Sunday? It's Any Given Sunday.
It's the 6 inches in front of your face.
It's the
literally.
Titans.
It's literally.
Remember the Titans, Matt. Come on.
It is the Titans, but they had
Tons of references.
They had a good coach. This team has Mike fucking Malarkey, and I see him as the first head coach fired this year.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
Okay, so 2-14 for the Titans. At third in the division, I see the Colts. They are not a good team. Andrew Luck is a good quarterback, but he's not a Peyton Manning type quarterback that can take shit and turn it into chicken salad. He can take shit and get you 7-9.
He's getting paid like he is.
Yeah, he's getting paid like it, but he ain't that.
Go on.
Continue.
7-9 is their best bet for this year. I've got Jacksonville rolling in at 9-7.
Yeah.
And I do like Jacksonville. I hope they stay healthy because they've got a really good young squad. I see them pretty much having their way with everybody in the division but the Texans, and they could split with the Texans. But I've got the Texans taking it at definitely 10-6.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to compete with them in this division.
I could easily see them going up to like 13-3. Though.
I could see them having a better year than 10-6, but
they could be like the Carolina
So
this year.
you were like gloating about how different you were from us, and you
Very similar.
literally said almost the same thing.
He's stuck in the middle.
I
with
got
us.
Titans at the bottom.
Yeah.
John has Colts at the top. I have them third with you.
Did you have a Colts at the top?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Had them
then
tying with the
you
Texans.
got Jacksonville
That's
at the
right.
head, and I've got Houston at the head. I mean, there's only 4 teams in the
But
division. And
we
there's
think
3
it's
of
going to
us,
be
so
a
there's-
close divisional race. We just don't agree on the first place team.
But we all think it's going to be close.
yeah, so
Next division.
Can I start this one?
start it off. This is going to be the NFC West.
So that would be the Seattle Seahawks.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah,
The Arizona Cardinals.
no.
John's homer team. San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
And then my adopted son's team, Todd Gurley's LA Rams.
That's right.
very true.
Finally on the West Coast, making that division geographically
Correct.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Roger Goodell. because-
Don't ever thank him.
No, we don't thank Ginger Dick here. Fuck him.
Fuck
Thank
you.
the NFLPA for making them do that.
Thank you, NFLPA,
There you
because
go.
now I can sleep at night knowing that all the teams
They
from
didn't
the
make it.
NFC
What are you
West
talking
are in the
about?
West. But anyway, I'll start at the top for this one.
Now we hear.
Bruce Arians. He been there for years. It ain't a comeback. Bruce Arians is Arizona Cardinals. Barring injury, I see them going 13-3. This is a really good fucking football team. They drafted well. They had some good free agent pieces come in. They have an explosive running game, which is a committee. They have great wide receivers, which is a committee with Smoke, a.k.a. John Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, and Michael Floyd if he's healthy.
Matt, Phil, you know what this is, right? This is that semi-hard knock effect that makes Matt love every team he sees.
This is true.
This is the Amazon Cardinals getting Matt pumped up.
That was last year's team. This year's team.
But it's making you love them because
No.
you just watched it.
Did you watch the whole series? Is it good?
It's pretty
He
good.
just watched it.
Did you watch any of them, John?
You watched the
I'm in
first
the
one.
process.
How many are there? 6?
8.
8?
8 or 10. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
but they follow him the whole year,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they follow him even in
not
the
just the
playoffs.
preseason. Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead. Continue.
But I like the Cardinals at 13-3.
We know.
I see this as their division to have a stranglehold on. Second, here's a shocker. Seattle Seahawks. they're not going to be too far behind them. Not having Marshawn Lynch, the defense is getting older. There's some flippity going on there, but I still see them in a playoff hunt. They're definitely a 10 or 11 win team here.
Man.
So they're looking at 11-5, 10-6. Third is a respectable LA Rams at 5-12.
Ooh.
And then the San Francisco 49ers under Chip Kelly at 4-12.
5-12.
5-11, 4-12. Sorry.
Math is hard.
It's a 17-week
All right,
season,
so-
right?
Carry the one.
Now you really should thank Roger Goodell for that because he should want him. He wants to make it 18 weeks, or he wanted to.
I would love.
He kind of let that ship sail.
Yeah, that's not going to happen
for now.
with the concussion issue.
The players
not
are
gonna
like, we'll
happen.
take another bye week.
Yeah, I mean,
Not going to
18
happen.
weeks.
they should actually get another bye week. But
I agree with that.
But yeah, I've got the Niners at the bottom at a 4-12,
All
right
right.
above the LA Rams.
Yes.
Or right below the LA Rams. Sorry.
Carry the one.
starting from the bottom,
Now we're here.
okay, I'm gonna take the Niners as well. I think I'm gonna say more in the ballpark of the Titans that you had, Matt. Excuse me, of a 2-14 team.
Yeah.
Really? I like
Yeah.
Chip Kelly a little
No.
more than. Do you want to take a GB?
No.
Who will have more wins?
No, I don't.
Titans or the 49ers?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you said
Or who will
I'll
have
take
less
it.
wins? Who will have less wins?
no.
I think the
Titans are
49ers have more wins than the Titans.
Okay,
I think the
could
Titans
see-
have less wins.
You want to take a G-bait? I know we agreed. We
Yeah, we
agreed.
agree.
Shit. All right.
Yeah,
go on,
so
Phil.
no. So maybe, maybe 3 wins. They're not a good team. They're not.
True.
Kaepernick, I think it's going to take a year for them to gel. They're not going to come out in that division.
We don't even know if he's the starter.
I'm saying, regardless, they're not going to come out in that division and make a splash year one.
No,
They've got some
no.
rebuilding to do. And I think Chip Kelly and I think the front office understands that. So it's just like 3-12. I mean, 4 wins seems too generous for them in a way that it didn't with the Titans. All right, so regardless, they're the bottom feeders of that division.
Oh, man.
It's a tough division.
Number 3, I will say again. I hate to agree with you, Matt, but the LA Rams, they're a 5-win. I think
bad.
no, the NFL will want them to do well, and
It's a Jeff Fisher team, so be
They're gonna be 8-8.
Be better. There you go.
they're going to go 8.
There you go.
7-9 if they lose by 1 point in overtime or some shit like. Well, that won't work. But at the end of a game, so
It's usually when they lose.
shut up. I'm talking about at the very end of the game, like on a last second field goal.
I'm talking about the last
When
second.
they don't
too.
have as many points as the other team and the clock strikes 0,
Madden.
that's when they lose.
Hold on.
You know what I meant, you fuckers. Okay, them losing at the final seconds of a game with on a
Right.
game-winning field goal or something like that. I can see
You can see them losing.
Yes,
Where Joe Montana typically
they're going
won,
to be
they lose.
8-8 or 7-9, something like that. Okay. In second, I have the Cardinals. I think they take
wow,
I
really?
think they take a slide. I think they're a 10-6 team. I mean, they're still good, but the Seahawks are going to be 11-5 or better. They're just too good under Pete Carroll. That defense is still phenomenal. I mean,
Do you know which division they play? Out of division? We talked about them last week.
They play the Bengals.
They play the NFC.
AFC North.
NFC.
They're the You said out of conference.
I said out of division.
Okay. Oh, so out of division. Okay, so you're talking about the division they play inside the NFC.
Bengals.
That's the AFC, John.
they
No,
play?
I don't. Who do they play? Carolina,
Carolina,
North,
Atlanta,
or NFC South.
Saints, and Tampa.
The one. Okay, so literally the division we talked about last week.
I think Arizona's going to wipe the field with all those fucking teams except for Carolina.
Bill.
As they take a slide, like I said, so I've got Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, and then the John's 49ers. So go ahead, John. What do you got?
I have got the Rams coming in last. I do not
Oh.
see this being a Jeff Fisher team.
Are you a little bit of a homer with the Niners not being in last?
Yeah, 100% homer.
Okay.
I am calling my shot. I'm Babe Ruth in it. Jeff Fisher will be fired mid-season.
That
This
never happens to the
year.
button on a fur
Too
coat.
much pressure in LA.
They are going to, too much pressure, and they're going to start off horrific. Like, we're not talking about a good time with some whores, okay? We're talking about a shitty start. They're going to be 0-5 or 0-6, and it's going to be something's going to happen. Jeff Fisher's gone.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm going with.
I could see that. Being that it's LA, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and I got them finishing. Did I already say?
Nope.
I'm going to go with. I'm going to agree with
1 and
fucking
15.
Phil. 5 and 11.
I have them at 5 and 11.
That's not. I didn't say that.
No, then Matt. Sorry.
I have them at 8 and 8 because they got Jeff Fisher.
That's very true. It's
I
very
got them
true.
at 5 and 11.
It's very true. I'm going 5 and 11 with
Carry
them.
the one though.
That's right. Carry the one. The third place team in the division is going to be the Cardinals.
Fuck me.
Are you
serious?
serious?
Is there really a 5th place? Is there a 5th place finish?
I don't even know if the 49ers are going to be in the division at the end of this. They might not even be picked.
Being relegated to the NCAA Division 1.
Okay, I can't
The
do it.
CFL, the 49ers.
I want to do it, but I can't. I'm going to go 49ers next. They're going to win 5. They're going to tie with the LA Rams. They're going to do 5 and 11. Yeah, I don't like it.
Math.
It sucks.
Carry the one.
And so does math. And then, yes, at 2, I am going with the Cardinals. Ooh. I do not see them being the league or the division leader. I see them at 10 and 6, maybe 11 and 5. They are a good team, but just don't see them. I don't know. I mean, there is a chance where they could just run it and maybe only lose 1 or 2 games this season. But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with 11 and 5. And then finishing it off, Seattle Seahawks. They're the best team in the division. They have proven it time and time again. They are definitely going to be.
So you think they're going to go from wild card last year back to division?
Yeah.
Why would that be so hard to believe out of the Seahawks?
Seriously.
Because of the trend of the players.
I don't.
Seattle's gone down every year, and the trend for Arizona has gone up.
No. I think Jimmy Graham's going to get 15,000 touchdowns.
Oh. Wow.
Not really.
Get your Russell Wilson.
Not
Jimmy
really.
Graham.
Not really. I can't imagine seeing Doug Baldwin do what he did last year. But anyway.
Oh, no, he had an incredible run the last
I'm
going to
go
games.
13 and 3 for the Seahawks.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's a strong finish. So I could see that. I mean, the division.
It's a weaker division now.
The
only Cardinals.
teams.
The Cardinals are the only team in there.
It.
So if they lose one of those 2 matchups, they only have to lose 2 more in the rest of the year, and I can easily see them winning a whole bunch of games.
Well, okay. I mean, that's still, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you shouldn't be shocked by it.
Right. All right. So, well, that's going to wrap up division talk. Next week, we'll be doing 2 more divisions. And I did say next week because we are on a weekly format as the Foggy Bottom Boys here. So, eloquently put it. But, yeah, so every week, tune in, usually Wednesday every week. So check us out. Before we get off this episode,
Yeah.
damn it, I'm sorry.
Same Foggy.
Gutter humor.
No, I do want to briefly talk about the Fantasy Fogcast League. I'm the commissioner this year, so I'll have my own team. John and Matt will have their own team that they co-own. It will be a touchdown-only league. However, I have
new change.
There's been a slight wrinkle in the rules. I will be implementing bonuses for touchdowns, like for links, like point for 40-yard touchdown, 2 points for 50 yards, something like that.
Or for like some 400-yard games or 350 or something.
No. Just be for the touchdowns themselves.
Well, you're not going to do 400-yard games.
No, because
passing,
we don't want to base it upon yards. It's going to be just touchdowns. So if you want to compete, get in the league. We still have a few slots available. I'm sorry to all those that have been promised positions, ownership slots in the league. I have not created the league and sent out invites yet because I'm foggy and I'm an asshole. So I will be doing that, and then we'll be setting a draft date. I think I said the time last week. It'll be towards the end of August. It will be. I think it's the last week in August is what we determined. So try
August 28th.
Something like that.
That's when 2 of mine are. That's when mine is actually.
So we'll pick a day and we'll settle on something. But it will be as close to the end of the season as we can get. No sense in injuries fucking your team up, especially considering that the stakes are so high in the Fantasy Fogcast League. It is free to join. It's a 12-team league. I think we have 4 or 5 slots still available. So email us at fantasyfogcast.com if you want to get in the league. I will be creating it this week. I promise. Maybe. No, I really do promise. And sending out the invites. So I think there's, I don't have the list in front of me. I do think there are 4 or 5 slots still available. So if you want in, email us. Again, it's at fantasyfogcast.com. It's free to join. And if you win, you will get entry into next year's Southern Bluegrass Fantasy Football Championship. It's a value of $250 entry fee in which you can win upwards of $4,000
plus.
That sounds awesome.
Plus it's like 120, 30 teams, something like that. And it's
free bourbon.
Yeah, the draft. It's pretty cool.
If you win, you get a championship ring. That's pretty fucking sweet.
It is pretty cool.
You can go to my Twitter and check that out.
These guys, they really go all out. We got to participate in it last year. It was fucking awesome.
You get hookers.
If you're a big fantasy football fan, I assure you we don't get hookers. We no hookers, John.
I'm not doing it.
I'll go.
Fucking out.
And he's gone. Okay, but we had the opportunity to do it last year. Sound. We had the opportunity to do it last year. It was a lot of fun.
Y'all better get me hookers.
We'll get you hookers, John. We'll get you all liquored up and make you think hookers are in the room.
It'll just be you guys wearing wigs.
But there's like an open bar. There's one of the sponsors. One of the sponsors is a bourbon company,
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo
last year.
Trace bourbon. They're doing it again this year, I believe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
So
and we will be there doing a podcast.
Yes. And so it's the guy who runs it, Brian Hardwood, really nice guy, and he's been doing it about 6 or 7 years now. If you love fantasy football, I assure you've never seen anything like this before. So it is a really, really cool experience. We're excited to be doing it. And like I said, if you win the free Fantasy Fogcast League, which there are still 4 to 5 slots available, you can. That was doing hand motions for all our podcasts.
For all of our people listening.
Right.
And watching.
Yeah, they could see the hand motions if they're watching that.
But we do it the opposite way.
Anyway,
the watchers are listeners.
Oh, that's right. The podcast viewers and the YouTube listeners, right? So if you want to get in on that, get in our Fantasy Fogcast League. It's free to join. You can get in the SBFFC, win a lot of money, have a good time. It's again, if you love fantasy football, this is something you want to be a part of. Anyway, so email us at what@fantasyfogcast.com if you want to be involved in that. Coming up towards the end of this month, as John said, we'll be doing a podcast live from the SBFFC, so you can kind of get a feel for what it's about. We'll do some interviews with some past champions and the founder of the league itself. So why are you looking at me that way?
Let's move forward.
Okay. I don't want to move forward. I want to keep talking about it. It's a lot of money.
In case y'all didn't know, we're going to be at the SBFFC doing a podcast.
You only said that one time. You got to say.
And then use it.
You're an English,
if you win the Fogcast League,
you get
into the
SBFFC.
You're an English major.
Hey,
you know the rule.
If you want to join, just email us at what@fantasypodcast.com.
You got
4 to 5 spots available.
You got to
drill it in their head.
You're an English major, John.
Drill it in their head.
Yeah, you have to do that.
I'm actually not an English major anymore. I think I graduated.
You were an English major.
I was an English major.
Okay,
that's right.
you were an English major. So when you're writing something, when you're explaining something,
I'm still going. Let's go.
You have to tell them. You have to tell them you told them, and then you have to tell them again.
And then you want them to tell it back to you.
That's right.
So y'all tell us.
Right. Tell us. I'm listening.
In the comments.
We're waiting.
In the comments.
Email us what@fantasyfogcast.com. Get a slot. Join in the SPFFC League. Win a lot of money.
Get a slut.
Get a slut. That's for you, John.
I was about to
So,
leave again if I didn't get one.
Anyway, and also to reiterate, if you have any questions, comments for the show, you can also email us those at what@fantasyfogcast. Yeah, that's how it works. You can also reach out to us on Twitter @fantasyfogcast. Again, for the third time, we will be doing these every week. Check in Wednesdays throughout the preseason, regular season, postseason. We'll be here, filling your ears with foggy goodness. But until next time, I'm Phil.
I'm John.
I'm Foggy Matt.
And this is the Fantasy Fogcast.